On this week's episode, I talk about the importance of perfect posture with Dr. Mike. Here with Dr. Mike this week talking about the art of perfect posture. So tell me, Dr. Mike, what do we typically see patients come into the office with in regards to posture?
Okay, so usually it's poor seated posture is what we see or deal with mostly. People that work at a desk all day, state workers, Blue Cross workers, anybody that work in the desk for 6, 8, 10 hours a day, they get up once or twice during the course of the day, hunched over a keyboard, real slumped, rounded through their upper back, kind of this real awkward forward head position, arms either really, really high or really, really low based on kind of where their keyboard and stuff is at. But it always brings them in the office for upper back pain, neck pain, headaches, migraines, typically what we'll tend to see resulting from a poor posture.
Okay, so that could be one cause of poor posture. Another cause, maybe looking at cell phones. Do we see a lot of that?
Yeah, so I think it's the AMA classified a new condition called text neck. Yeah, based off of, kids, playing on their cell phones like this all day long, and then they go from school like this to on their cell phones like this to video games, and so it causes lots of problems within the neck, within the upper back as well.
So I remember my first time in the office here, we did a side profile shot of me to kind of compare where my neck should be in relation to my spine. I guess, because the camera's side profiling me, what would we look for?
So ideally, if we were to, you can flip your hair back behind your ear if you would. So ideally what we look for is we put a dot in her ear, in her shoulder, and then the outer portion of her hip, we expect to see those all to be in a straight line up and down. And what we typically see is kind of shoulders here, bring your head forward, and actually kind of extend your jaw out a little bit too. This is the typical posture that we tend to see, and if you walk around in any office space, this is typically what you'll see people either standing or seated position looking like.
And what's that going to turn into over time?
Oh man, it's going to turn into nothing but arthritis, bad joints, what we call a kyphosis, so those big the humps that we'll see along the upper portion of the back of some older individuals. That's actually really, really advanced arthritis that'll lead to that. On a much lesser scale, just simply tight muscles within the neck, tight joints, that can lead to pains in those areas, radiating pains or numbness and tingling in the hands, headaches and migraines. All that stuff can stem from postural stuff up top.
So if I already have poor posture, is chiropractic can you be way too far down a path to not have help with chiropractic, or is it going to help anybody at any level?
Absolutely not, yeah. So anybody can be helped at any level, and based on the degree of it, can sometimes determine how long it'll take to get the results we look for. But regardless, if we're removing nerve pressure, whether the head is in an awkward position or not, it's going to help regardless.
Okay, so I think we're going to go over what you should, I guess, your posture position for looking at computers or sitting at a desk. If I'm looking at my cell phone.
Yes.
So I'm leaning forward, head down. I mean, are we looking for the phone to come up?
Basically right in front of you. So even if you're sitting at a desk, propping your elbows up on the top of the desk or your table, having the cell phone right in front of you, and we'll talk about it a little bit more when we talk about computer height, placement and everything, but ideally getting directly about in front of you. It's not going to be ideal if you're, watching a 2-hour movie or something like that, but during the course of sending a text message, reading a quick article, checking an email, popping it up in front of you to keep your head in a good, tall, neutral position versus cranking your head way on down. Yeah.
All day long.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. All right, so Rainey is actually out sick this week, so Dr. Rob is going to be filling in for Rainey's Fitbit, and he's going to have a couple postural corrective exercises that you can do at home.
I'm Dr. Rob at the Springfield Wellness Center and filling in for Rainey today for her Fitbit. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of different postural exercises to really strengthen the mid-back, to really pull the shoulder blades down and back. So the first one, we're going to use a TheraBand, and I'm going to have you hold that with both hands. Palms are going to be up, and keep the elbows tucked in, and you're just going to take and open right there. Perfect. gets a little hard after a little while. So make sure with that one you're keeping your elbows kind of tucked in. It's really like we're just squeezing in between the shoulder blades here. I know it gets hard. So the next one, the arms are going to be straight out. So same thing, palms up.
Palms up, okay.
Yep, and we're just going to do the same thing, but we're going to open the chest a little more. There you go. Okay, that looks really good. So the next one, we're going to do palms in the same position, but we're going to go diagonal. And then I'll have you switch. There you go. Now normally we would do about 10 in each position. Then after that, depending on how sore it is, we can usually do 2 sets of that. So the next one we're going to use an exercise ball. And I will have you lay face down on that. And I'll get you positioned. There we go. So good right here. I want you to make sure you're keeping your back straight with this. Perfect. So first one, thumbs are going to be pointed up, and we're just going to take and bring the arms up like that. You can do both at the same time. There you go. What she's doing, she's really just kind of bringing the shoulder blades back. She's really working everything right through here. So the next position, palms are still up, thumbs are still up, and we're going just out to the side. So it's almost like a back fly. So there you go. You feel that? Does that feel okay? Okay. So again, we would do about 10 of these. Then after that, we're going to now take, the palms are going to be up this time. We're going to bring the arms back like that. And this way, I mean, we're really working a lot of the muscles that stabilize the shoulder and the mid-back. So we really get them in a bunch of different directions. You can go ahead and sit up. Feel okay after
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're feeling like your posture is just kind of out of whack, out of place, or in any pain, that's basically what you would get.
Pretty much.
Okay, cool.
All right. Thanks.
That's been this week's Fitbit. We will see you next time. So we're back, and right now Dr. Mike is actually going to walk me through proper ergonomics or proper spinal placement for a standing workstation, which is what I have.
Okay. Yeah.
And sitting.
Yep, and we'll go over sitting as well, yeah. So this is set up already pretty well good for Brooke. So she's standing in a good kind of relaxed position here. What we want to see, it's all standing the other side, so you can kind of see her from here. We want to see is basically, is her eye level pretty well lined up with about what we say the top third of the computer screen. So she's got a couple of screens here, but we'll focus on the bigger one here. So we're looking at kind of the top third of the screen, pretty well centered up with her eye level. That's going to keep her head in a good neutral position. And from the side, once again, if we took a dot and put it in her ear and her shoulder and her hip, that's kind of that good tall positioning that we're looking to see. In terms of the keyboard, she's got this standing platform here, and so what I like to have patients do is put your arms straight out in front of you, and then tuck your elbows into your side like you're gonna do a push-up. And so this is kind of a good relaxed position for her arms to be at, right at a good level in height with her keyboard, a good level with her mouse as well, and she can, either pull the keyboard back a little bit, step a little bit closer in, but ideally, this is kind of what we're looking for in terms of a standing station. In terms of foot placement, just kind of whatever's comfortable. Everybody has a little bit of a natural outward turn or something with their toes, whatever it may be. As long as it's a good natural position and we have your weight pretty well balanced side to side. I know myself with my standing station and Brooke as well with hers, would like to kick off her shoe every once in a while, have a lacrosse ball on the ground, just kind of roll up the bottom of the feet. Keeps those muscles from getting a little extra tight and sore just from, being on your feet for an extended period of time.
Yeah. And so seated, what are we looking for
So
there?
seated, we're basically looking for same sort of thing. So she's in a seated position, and so imagine that she's got a laptop or a computer sitting in front of her. We're basically looking for the same thing. Good, tall through the torso. In terms of eye level with the keyboard, we're looking for kind of the same thing. So keyboard or a monitor would be at about this level on down from there. Same thing with the arms. Arms straight out, bring them into the sides. That's kind of a good relaxed position that we like to see those arms in. We don't want to have your arms reached way out in front of us. Just kind of relax through the shoulders, relax through the arms to where those hands are then placed on the table for mouse in or key in. With the feet and the hips, we want to see the knees be just slightly below the hips. And so this is a pretty good position, just a slight slant from her hip down to her knee. And then feet flat on the floor. If you're a shorter individual with a taller desk, they have some of those platforms or boxes or crates or something you can put on your feet to keep your feet elevated. A lot of Women, especially from what I understand from patients, like to cross their legs, put one leg up on the chair. Awful, awful, awful for you. In terms of crossing the legs, I'm totally okay with crossing legs as long as you're doing it equally side to side. So you can cross one leg over, cross the other leg over. Problem where people run into is that they get stuck with one position, and then we end up getting some imbalances kind of through the hips as well.
And if I'm looking at my cell phone, because we talked about it in the beginning, but screen is up and
screen is up.
I'm neutral.
So same thing that we're looking at with a monitor, with a laptop. We want to get it up directly in front of our eyes, so that way our head and our chin are in a nice relaxed position versus having to tip our head down or up or whatever for the phone.
Okay, and I think maybe you and I have had this conversation before, but resetting posture during the day, is there any trick or any time that you should, like every hour or whatever?
Yeah, so I tell patients top of the hour, every hour. There's a little clock in the bottom corner of almost every computer that's out there. Top of the hour, every hour, whenever you see the clock, check your posture. Sit up nice and tall, shoulders pulled back, arms in nice relaxed position, head good neutral position. Say it's 9:15, you do it the first time, you're going on your day. Oh, it's 10 after 10, time to do it again. Same sort of thing. Sit up nice and tall, shoulder pulls back, just to kind of get yourself, 6, 8, 10 posture breaks during the course of the day.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's all we have for this week. We will see you next time.
To submit a question, watch a past episode, or to find out more about the Springfield Wellness Center, check us out on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or find us on Instagram, or check out our show website at wellnesslab.tv.